From the earliest clashes of tribes to the global conflicts that scarred centuries, a dark truth often lurked beneath the banners of patriotism and principle. It's a truth whispered in the halls of power and etched in the ledger books of empires. War, for many, was never merely a struggle for survival or supremacy. It was, in its most brutal and profound manifestation, the ultimate business model. A machine of creation and destruction, fueled by ambition and capitalized by blood. This is the story of how the very act of conflict, the organized violence between societies, transformed into an engine of profit, innovation, and unprecedented accumulation. Imagine a world where the very act of preparing for battle, of engaging in it, and of recovering from it became a self-perpetuating economic cycle. In ancient times, the spoils of war, captured lands, enslaved peoples, plundered resources were the most direct form of profit. Conquerors amassed vast personal fortunes, and their empires swelled with the wealth extracted from the vanquished. The Roman legions, for instance, were not just soldiers. They were instruments of economic expansion, securing trade routes, mines, and agricultural lands that fed the burgeoning Roman economy. Their campaigns were often financed by wealthy citizens, repaid with the very riches brought back from conquered territories. This created an early, raw form of war financing, where the success of military ventures directly translated into substantial returns for investors. As societies grew more complex, so too did the financial architecture of war. The medieval knight, for all his chivalry, was often a landlord, his retinue a private army, maintained through feudal obligations. But even then, the need for specialized equipment, armorers, blacksmiths, fletchers, created a nascent industry around conflict. Mercenaries, professional soldiers for hire, emerged as a distinct economic force. Swiss pikemen, German Landsknechts, and Italian condottieri sold their formidable skills to the highest bidder, turning their martial prowess into a direct source of income. Their contracts were meticulously negotiated, their payments often tied to performance or the duration of campaigns. They were, in essence, the first private military contractors, demonstrating that military service could be entirely decoupled from national allegiance and firmly rooted in commerce. The cost of maintaining these professional forces was immense, often bankrupting rulers who failed to secure victory and its subsequent spoils. The financial risk was high, but so too was the potential reward. The age of exploration and the rise of nation-states ushered in an era where war's economic dimensions truly began to blossom. Naval power, crucial for securing lucrative trade routes and colonial territories, became incredibly expensive. Shipyards boomed, employing thousands of carpenters, sailmakers, and cannon founders. The sheer scale of these operations demanded new forms of financing. Governments began to issue bonds, borrowing from wealthy merchants and nascent financial institutions to fund their navies and armies. The war chest became a tangible concept, filled not just with plundered gold, but with the investments of citizens hoping to profit from their nation's projected victories. The Dutch and the English, masters of maritime trade and finance, understood this deeply. Their joint stock companies, initially designed for overseas ventures, often had a militaristic dimension, protecting their trading interests with armed vessels and private armies. The line between merchant and warrior blurred, revealing a sophisticated intertwining of commerce and conflict. The Industrial Revolution turbocharged this model. Suddenly, the tools of war could be mass-produced with unprecedented efficiency. Factories that once made textiles could pivot to producing uniforms. Foundries that cast bells could now cast cannons. The demand for raw materials, iron, coal, timber, sword, creating vast supply chains that spanned continents. Railroads, steamships, and telegraphs, themselves products of industrial innovation, facilitated the rapid movement of troops, supplies, and information, making larger and more sustained conflicts possible. The arms industry became a colossal enterprise, with companies vying for lucrative government contracts. The very existence of these industries created a powerful lobby, an economic incentive to maintain a state of readiness, if not outright conflict. The perpetual need for new, more advanced weaponry meant constant research and development, further cementing war's role as an engine of technological advancement and economic growth. This created a powerful feedback loop. Technological innovation led to more devastating wars, which in turn spurred greater technological innovation and increased industrial output. The world wars of the 20th century were the zenith of this business model. Total war meant total mobilization of economies. Governments took unprecedented control of industries, directing production towards the war effort. Rationing, conscription, and massive public debt became commonplace. But beneath the patriotic fervor, immense fortunes were made. Industrialists transformed their factories, producing tanks, planes, and ammunition on an unimaginable scale. Financial institutions underwrote the colossal debts incurred by warring nations, profiting from interest payments and the restructuring of post-war economies. The United States, far from the direct devastation of European battlefields, became the arsenal of democracy, its industrial output surging, its economy transforming from a regional power to a global hegemon. The post-war boom was, in large part, fueled by the innovations and industrial capacity built during the conflict. The war had created a new global economic order, with new winners and losers, new currencies, and new centers of financial power. Even in peacetime, the shadow of this business model lingered. The Cold War, with its ideological struggle and nuclear standoff, created the military-industrial complex. Vast sums of public money were poured into defense spending, creating a permanent war economy. Research into aerospace, computing, and communications, often driven by military needs, spilled over into the civilian sector, creating new industries and technologies that transformed everyday life. Silicon Valley itself has roots in defense contracting and government-funded research. Satellites, the internet, GPS, these ubiquitous technologies owe a debt to the persistent economic and scientific demands of military competition. The argument for continuous defense spending, often framed in terms of national security, also carried a powerful economic imperative. It sustained jobs, drove innovation, and generated profits for a vast network of corporations. Today, the business of war has evolved further. Privatization has brought back the mercenary in a new guise. Private military and security companies. These entities offer everything from logistical support and intelligence gathering to armed protection and training, often operating in conflict zones where traditional armies face political constraints. Their contracts are worth billions, making them powerful players in global geopolitics. Cybersecurity, a new battleground in the digital age, has also become a burgeoning industry, with companies offering defense against state-sponsored hacking and espionage. The data itself, the very information exchanged and stored, has become a valuable commodity, a new territory to be defended or exploited. The human cost of this business model is immeasurable. Lives lost, families shattered, societies destabilized. Yet the economic incentives remain potent. The constant drive for technological superiority, the need to maintain industrial capacity, the profits generated by reconstruction efforts, All these factors contribute to the enduring reality of war as an economic engine. It's a paradox, an enterprise built on destruction, yet one that has inadvertently spurred innovation, reshaped economies, and concentrated immense wealth. The history of war, then, is not just a chronicle of battles and treaties, but a profound narrative of finance and industry. It is a testament to humanity's capacity for both immense destructiveness and astounding ingenuity. The legacy of how conflict became commerce is etched into our global economy, in the rise and fall of nations, in the fortunes accumulated, and in the technologies that define our modern world. And as long as there are those willing to pay the price, in coin or in blood, the ultimate business model will continue to cast its long, complex shadow